Put your seatbelts on. Former President Donald J. Trump has until Sunday to decide whether or not to testify in E. Jean Carroll's civil rape and defamation trial against him. His lawyers have so far offered no defense, but jurors did see a videotaped deposition given by Trump back in October, which was made public for the first time earlier today. In it, Donald Trump denies the encounter with Carroll ever happened. He also commented on that infamous Access Hollywood tape.
And you say, and again, this has become very famous in this video, I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet, just kiss. I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything. Grab them by the you can do anything. That's what you said, correct?
Well, historically, that's true with stars.
It's true with stars that they can grab women by the
Well, that's what it's. If you look over the last million years, I guess that's been largely true. Not always, but largely true. Unfortunately or fortunately.
And you consider yourself to be a star?
I think you can say that, yeah.
Unfortunately or fortunately. With me now to discuss my dear friend Joyce Vance, former U.S. attorney who spent 25 years as a federal prosecutor. Joyce, we just heard from the former president of the United States doubling down on what he said about grabbing women's genitals on that Access Hollywood tape. What do you think about that? He's also the current potential frontrunner in the Republican Party.
So I'll answer that question with my former prosecutor hat on and say that although this is a civil case that E. Jean Carroll has brought, that's the kind of evidence that any lawyer would want to have in a courtroom in a case like this, whether it was a criminal rape case or a civil defamation and battery case. When you've got a defendant who makes this kind of a comment, especially when he uses the word fortunately, when discussing the sweep of history in regard to women's bodily integrity, you've got to feel good about your case.
Okay, this one was a shocker to many. I want you to take a look at what happened when Donald Trump was shown a photograph of himself with E. Jean Carroll.
You have in front of you a black and white photograph that we've marked as DJT23.
I don't even know who the woman. Let's see. I don't know who. It's Marla.
You say Marla's in this photo?
That's Marla. Yeah, that's my wife.
Which woman are you pointing to? No.
Here.
Carroll.
Oh,
The person you just pointed to was E. Jean Carroll.
Okay, in case you didn't hear that, he was saying the woman in the photo was Marla Maples, Trump's wife at the time, but it was E. Jean Carroll. Part of his defense is that he didn't even know E. Jean, and she's not his type. On what planet were these arguments working?
So this is a really strong piece of evidence on a critical element of E. Jean Carroll's case. She's got to prove that she was defamed. She's got to prove that Trump made knowingly false statements about her. And he testifies in the deposition that all of his ex-wives are his type. Marla Maples is his type. He's shown a photograph of E. Jean Carroll. He identifies it as Marla Maples. Again, it's very powerful evidence. And what you don't have in this trial is Donald Trump taking the witness stand and giving the jury an alternative explanation. Because it's a civil case and Carroll only has to prove her case by a preponderance of the evidence, prove that it's more likely than not, this again is really damaging when it comes to the way the jury will be instructed and will deliberate on the evidence.
Now, the judge has given the former president until Sunday to decide whether or not to testify. What do you think he's going to do in your professional experience?
Yeah, so I think Trump was blustering. He made this comment on the golf course in Ireland that he had to leave Ireland and Scotland early. He had to go back to the United States because this horrible woman had said terrible things about him. It shouldn't be permitted to happen. And he was going back to America to defend himself. Unfortunately for Trump, he said that after his lawyer had already told the judge he would not be testifying. After the evidence was closed, the defense said that they were done presenting evidence. And I think, what Judge Kaplan has done here is he has called Trump's bluff. And he has said, you want to testify? Come on, I'll bend over backwards and give you the opportunity to do it even though you're out of time. And what that does when Trump doesn't show up is it forecloses his opportunity to go around and talk about how poorly he was treated in court, because here the judge has given him every benefit of the doubt.
The judge just said, giddy up, brother. You can come make your case. And now the question is, will Trump show up? Joyce Vance, thank you. You always make us smarter.